Hello, this is Cho of the Shiny Colors Discord. Welcome to another episode of the Shiny Review. Today we've got two cards to talk about. We have the new Produce SSR for Juri, as well as the Support SSR for Toru. Now keep in mind that both of these cards are limited, and because Shiny Colors is allergic to the concept of reruns that aren't paid only, the likelihood of you seeing this card in the future is pretty slim. So, if you are a fan of Juri or Toru, now is your chance to pull. Let's start off, of course, by talking about Juri, who is a pure dance unit this time around, making our first limited Juri who focuses in on dancing. Took us a whole 5.5 years, but we did it. So first things first, her 0-star appeal is a dance 4.0 that just simply duets with Hokura. The plus appeal, if it is turn 2 or earlier and you have the full Hokura lineup, it is also a duet with Hokura. Again, these are both random, so you could get anybody as long as it's not Juri. The 4-star version of this appeal is a dance 5.5 that duets with Hokura. And, again, same conditions, as long as it's turn 2 or earlier and you have the full Hokura lineup on stage, you get an additional duet. For her passives, she has a dance 60% up if Juri's on your team, which has a 30% chance to activate once. Her 2-star passive is a dance 100% up if you have 3 or more Hokura members in your skill history, has a 30% chance to activate twice, and her 4-star passive is a dance 160% up if 5 or more Hokura members are in your skill history, which also has a 30% chance to activate twice. Her memory appeal, when maxed out, is a dance maximum 4.0 appeal that scales based on your skill history, so the more characters that are in your skill history, the stronger this will be. And this links into a dance 3.0 appeal that hits all judges. Juri is actually very good. While she has abandoned most of the traditional Hokura mechanics, she makes up for this by accessing their newest tools and really running with it. Remember how I mentioned during the last Shiny review that Yuika might have a place in Dance Hokura with her passives? I think this is now the card to solidify that idea. So, whether that's Gift of Prophecy or just dumb luck, we'll just go with the latter. She has an extremely beefy memory appeal that scales really well with how this version of Hokura plays, and now has great passives to pair with it. She's an easy double S center for Hokura specifically, though I'm gonna give her S- as a card, only because her appeals are only a means to speed up your memory appeal process sometimes, because it's still random, meaning that there's a very good chance that whatever you get will screw up the rotation in some way. And she's really just a passive carrying machine to be at your center. But again, I do think that this card is very good and certainly worth picking up if you're interested in Dance Hokura. There have been some teams that are experimenting with a sort of rainbow-esque Dance Hokura, utilizing strong cards like MSC Kaho and Twaikole Rinzai that, despite not being the attribute Juri wants, are able to fulfill the conditions that Juri needs for her passives in order to make her memory appeal really good, and pairs up well with cards like Natsuha 7 to make a sort of new age Dance Hokura that isn't quite Dance Hokura. Next up, of course, we then have Toru. Toru is a pure vocal support. Her masteries include Unit Mastery SP, which reaches plus 12 at level 70, otherwise plus 7 at level 50. Room Mastery, which is plus 6 at level 80, plus 4 at level 75, and plus 2 at level 60. Vocal Stay Mastery, which is plus 3 at level 75, and Vocal Mastery Mental, which is plus 12 at level 80, plus 8 at level 65, and plus 4 at level 30. These off the bat are not amazing, truth be told. Unit Mastery SP is okay if you run a full Nocchill lineup, and the room cooperates with you to make that really feel worth it. Stay Mastery being locked to 3-star only can be a bit of a bummer, because it means you're really going to have to invest a lot into this card to make it really function. It's not particularly high either, which sort of helps elevate that issue. Mental growth also doesn't feel like it matters too much. I guess the idea is that because the way that cannons build nowadays, you don't really go into the radio room and step, so this card is meant to compensate for that, but it really doesn't matter that much in the grand scheme of things. It feels like this is the one that's probably the most tacked on. Now for the rest of what this card does. Her initial appeal is a Vocal 2.5 that grants you Evasion 30% up for 2 turns. The 4-star version is a Vocal 3.5 that raises your Evasion by 30% for 2 turns and grants you 1 additional mulligan for the rest of that fess. Remember that you need the full unit in order to access Mulligan, so if you're not running a full unit, you might not have one in the first place. This could grant you that potential additional one, or if you've already used it on a full team, this gives you an extra as sort of a refresh. For her passives, she has a Vocal 50% up if Toru is in your lineup, which has a 20% chance to activate 3 times, a Vocal 110% up, and Attention 50% up at 2 stars. That requires you to have 1 or more active reaction buffs. This has a 20% chance to activate twice. So, use either of her appeals, and this passive goes online. The last is a Vocal 100% up if you're in the Vocal position, which has a 20% chance to activate once. Toru is okay. I wouldn't say that this card is very good. I would say that it's fine, but I wouldn't call this like some crazy card that's gonna drastically change the way you play Vocal Nocchill or any Vocal team, really. The Vocal 100% passive is cool, but the problem is that if you look at Vocal Nocchill, your Vocal position unit is Toru still, so you can't even use this card in conjunction with that Toru. Now, if we get a new Vocal Nocchill card that replaces Toru 2, cool. I don't know where Toru 2 is going after that, because that's really the only thing she has going for her. So, if this card had been anybody else than Toru, then you could have made an argument of this card actually being pretty okay. But combining her sort of lackluster masteries with the fact that she only really has 1 passive to pass on to most teams, that still requires you to be playing an evasion-type build in order to even utilize it, makes her kind of clunky, functional, but clunky, and has a lot of innate weaknesses that will probably deter a handful of people from considering this card on their really strong teams. I'm going to give this card tentatively somewhere between a B+ to an A-. I feel like I'm being a little harsh, but I still think that this card is okay. But at the same time, I don't think a lot of people will be using this card in the grand scheme of things. So, invest carefully, is what I will say. So, that will do it for the video today. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and comment on it if you have any other thoughts on this banner. Next time, we'll be talking about whatever banner comes next, so let's look forward to it together. Till then, again, I've been Cho. Thank you again for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day.